The next thing that we're going to look at in making decisions for life are unit rates. And these are hugely important in your life to compare things. A lot of what we're going to be doing is comparing prices, unit prices on things to figure out which is a better deal. But you can also use this to compare any sort of a ratio, which is comparing two things of different measures. And when you have a ratio that is comparing two things with different measures, that is called a rate. And I've got some examples here, like 95 miles in 2 hours. That is a rate. 75 students in 3 classes. 1,275 calories in 4 servings. $3.78 for 24 ounces. Those are all rates. Now, if we wanted to compare these rates with other like rates, we would need to do something called a unit rate. And that is where you take a rate and you make it out of 1. And how you do that is you divide the numerator, which is your top number, by your denominator, which is your bottom number. So first you have to figure out what's going to be your numerator and what's going to be your denominator. When we talk about 95 miles in 2 hours, well, obviously what we're interested in is miles per hour. That means we want the miles on the top of our rate, and we want the hours on the bottom. So we're going to put 95 over 2. We're going to set up our rate as a fraction, and then we're going to divide that. And we're going to get that we are getting 47.5 miles per hour. Or we're traveling 47.5 miles per hour, mph. That's what that stands for. Now the next one is 75 students in 3 classes. Well, obviously we want to know how many students per class. And so we're going to put students on top of our fraction, and we're going to put number of classes on the bottom. And when we divide, we're going to get that we have 25 students per class. The next one is 1,275 calories in 4 servings. Well, if we're just thinking people, obviously we want to know how many calories per serving. So we're going to put our calories on top and our servings on the bottom, and we're going to get that it's 318.75 calories per serving. Well, if we think back about our estimating that we learned earlier, we realized that not everything has to be 0.75. We have to round to make sense for the situation. And in this, calories are not that exact anyway, so we would probably round this to 319 calories per serving. We wouldn't get to the decimal exactness. Then we have $3.78 for 24 ounces. Now this we're going to be using over and over and over again, and that is where we want a cost per unit. In this case, a cost per ounce. Now, anytime you have this, always, the dollars go on top and the units go on the bottom. So, and when you do your activity, you're going to put your dollars on top and your units on the bottom. So we're going to put $3.78 on top and 24 on the bottom. Notice that we don't include our units in this when we are doing this division. We just add them in later. And we get that it is 0.1575 dollars per ounce. Well, we might leave it as that many decimals if we're comparing different units. But if we're not comparing, we would probably round to 2 decimal places, which is cents, and we'd say this is about 16 cents per ounce. Okay, let's look at a problem here. Sammy paid $50 for 40 square feet of carpet, and Jonathan paid $200 for 133 square feet of the same carpeting. Who got the better buy on the carpet? Well, remember, when we are comparing dollars per unit, and this is going to be dollars per square feet, we always put our dollars on top. So for And when it says the better buy, that means who got the smallest unit rate. So let's look at Sammy. We put her $50 over 40 square feet, and we got that she paid $1.25 per square foot of carpeting. And Jonathan paid $200 for 133 square feet. He ended up paying $1.50 per square foot. So Sammy definitely got the better deal here, or the better buy on the carpet. Kara can clean 24 rooms in 3 hours. Darren can clean can clean 28 rooms in 4 hours. Which of these two people can clean more rooms per hour? Well, notice we're saying rooms per hour. So we're going to put the rooms on top and the hours on the bottom. So Kara can clean 24 over 3. And when we divide that, we get that she can clean 8 rooms per hour. That is her cleaning rate. Darren can clean 28 rooms divided by 4 hours. He can clean 7 rooms per hour. So in this instance, Kara can clean more rooms per hour. Okay, so on your homework and in the activity that you're going to do, you're going to be finding unit rates of all sorts of different things. So you're going to set it up as a fraction, and you're going to divide the top number by the bottom number. In some cases, you'll need to round, and in some cases, you'll keep it as a longer decimal. Remember all of the things you learned about rounding and estimating to help you figure out when you should round and not.